We've got a caller on here.
Caller, can you hear us?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
So I just had a quick question regarding no means no and a law. Is there a law? Is it part of the federal law? No means no?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes is the answer.
Okay, so thank you for bringing up this question. No means no is about rights and responsibilities regarding consent and sexual assault, and there are legal definitions of consent as well as sexual assault, and I'm just going to state those for you, and then we'll talk about them a bit more. So, consent means voluntary agreement to participate in sexual activity. A person cannot give consent if he or she is being forced to participate, a person is incapable of consenting, or when they are afraid of the person who is asking them to consent. The Supreme Court of Canada has ruled that silence is not consent. Just to put that in as a little side note.
We should probably keep saying that over and over every 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Julia.
I have a question about that. How would someone be incapable of giving consent?
If a person is mentally disabled or under the age of 14 is incapable of giving legal consent because they may not fully understand what they are agreeing to. Yes?
Well, you can be under 14, but you 12 and between 12 and 14, you have to be within 2 years of each other. Like 12 can legally consent with 13 and 14, and 13 can legally consent with 14 and 15. And yeah, and then 14 and up, you can just consent to whoever unless they're in a position of power.
But it's good for people to remember that, you know, it's pretty conditional if you're under 14. And the reason that it's considered that they're incapable is they may not fully understand the ramifications of having sex. They may not really be aware of or knowledgeable enough to know that they may get pregnant or other consequences of engaging in sexual activity with someone.
What about when someone's under the influence?
Very good point.
Whenever someone is consuming alcohol, they cannot legally give consent to a sexual act. Or drugs. Alcohol
under
and
the
drugs.
influence, just intoxicated, period.
Yes.
And it sort of begs the question, why would anybody want to be engaging in sexual activity with someone who's, say, quite intoxicated?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sound like
assault.
a lot.
It is assault
Yeah.
if that is happening.
Yeah.
Even if somebody is consenting under the influence, having intercourse with, or whatever happens, even if they do consent and under the influence, it ex-nays.
And it is a criminal offense to the caller who was asking about it. It's a criminal offense, and I worked for a long time as a social worker and worked along with youth probation officers, and I saw a number of young men who ended up with a criminal charge because either they were engaging with sex with someone under the age of 14 and, you know, they were older, and or that there was an assault that took place and where someone was intoxicated. And it can really wreck a guy's life. There you have a criminal record. You may have to do some time. So it's really serious and important for young men to be thinking about that.
I know that there are some people where, like, they'll have something to drink to just kind of loosen them up so that it's, like, so that they're more relaxed, I guess, doing stuff. Or, like, I guess if they do something that they don't really want to, then they can say, well, like, I was drunk or something, so then it's not their fault.
Yikes. I totally hear what you're saying, but just keep in mind, listeners, that that what we said is truth. Like, under the influence, it is assault. So even though people do that to loosen up, it doesn't mean it's okay. And I do want to kind of clarify what the position of power means. Like, that is assault. So even if you're over, both parties are over 14. It is assault still if, say, somebody's, like a teacher to a student or what
to your employer.
If you're an employer and employees, and that happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so since we've been talking about sexual assault, I think I should put a definition to it. Sexual assault is defined as forcing someone to participate in sexual activities without their permission, i.e. consent. It is a sexual assault to sexually touch any part of another person's body without their consent. Okay, we have a caller. Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello. What is your question?
I don't have a question, really. I'm listening to your show, and I just want to say I think it's a really good idea. I think this show is a very good idea, especially this topic that you guys are talking about, because it really affects a lot of young people. It affects everybody. And I just think it's great that you guys are touching base on this, and I love your show.
Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, caller.
You're welcome. Welcome to the club for you!
Hilarious.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Okay.
We love callers.
That was good.
Us plus callers.
Okay, so just to finish off sexual assault, a conviction for sexual assault requires the proof of the following: sexual contact or touching, the intention to sexually touch a person, no consent, deliberately ignoring the fact that no consent has been given.
I want to pose a question. Why would somebody say yes when they really don't want to have any kind of sexual relationship with someone? But why would somebody say yes when really they mean no?
I think it goes back to the power imbalances with having someone in a position of power and being afraid of that person or intimidated by that person.
Or if there were previous threats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think being afraid is a really big part, or being intimidated, or maybe even there has been like a threat that if they don't cooperate, maybe somebody else they know will get hurt. There's some girls that, too, if they've been in a violent relationship and they've been hurt before, or they're really scared, it seems much easier to go ahead and let the guy have sex with them than be resisting, maybe get hurt physically, and end up having to be, end up being raped. So they may say yes, but it's important to know that legally they haven't given consent because they were afraid or they were threatened. So the guy can still be charged in that case.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's 8:52 and we got to do our closing.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, this has been an intense night.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I believe, like the caller said, this is really good to get out there, and
Totally.
I'm just gonna sign off for now.